Good morning and happy Sunday, everyone. I'm Charlotte McGinnis, and as always, thank you for taking a few minutes to tune in on Sunday mornings or at your convenience. And if you feel moved and inspired to do so, if you want to pass this along, that's wonderful. Also, want to let you know, I think I've mentioned it many times already, but I have a YouTube channel where these are uploaded later. And if anyone doesn't have access to Facebook for one reason or another, they could always go on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Inspire You TV. Inspire YOUTV. Okie doke, here we are, another beautiful Sunday morning. Grateful to be in these beautiful mountains. It's been hot and we've had some crazy weather. Boy, the weather out there all over the world has just gone nuts. And if you look at biblical prophecy, whatever, we are in the midst of huge transformation, change, and difficult times. I don't think things are going to slow down, unfortunately. Good thing it's a dream, but it's a tough dream that we're in right now. But the good news is there's good news. And that is that we can always choose in every moment to be in fear, which means that we're making the illusion real. We're giving meaning and power to that illusion, which is very scary right now. Or we choose to align with the thoughts of love, of God. And when we do that, hold the hand of God through this process, we can be at peace in the midst of chaos and war. I know it's possible. I've done it. You've done it too, I'm sure. And what we need to maybe pay attention to is to do it a little more often or a lot more often, because every moment we're literally at choice. Which road we go down. We can go down the road of fear, which is really the road to hell, or choose the path to love, which is heaven, non-duality, peace, comfort, safety. So it's up to us. And of course, we're always needing to remind ourselves that we're not a body. We are a soul in a body having these human experiences, and they're not neither good nor bad, but rather a lesson for us to learn how to navigate through anything. And how do you win this game of life? Well, choose love. In every situation, choose love, and then we can certainly be at peace. And that sounds good to me, and hopefully to you too. And we're going to talk more about that. But before I get there, next week I'll be out of town, be with my family. Looking forward to that. Going to meet my two great nieces who are just a year old or a little less than that. And haven't met them yet. So I'm excited about that, excited about seeing my family, and I will not be here next Sunday, so just keep that in mind. Also, the prayer ministry is here for you. If you'd like to submit a prayer, just go to my website, text me a message, whatever you want to do. I'll make sure that it gets out there, and our prayer team will support you in holding the vision for the greatest degree of love, God's will to be done on all levels, and we're here for you. So there's my opening dialogue. Sue and Annie, nice to see you gals. I was going to say guys, and that means gals too, but well, we're not going to waste time on that, right? So I thought this was cute and a good way to start out today because I think we can relate. And I think that sometimes, before I go share this, the intensity of what's happening in the world, both in our individual lives and the collective experience, is heavy and daunting, and sometimes it just feels like, our tongue's hanging out the one side of our mouth, and it seems almost hopeless at times. And I talk to people often who are frightened and confused and wanting peace, but not sure how to get there. So one thing that I think that is so important that we remember is to bring a little levity and humor into our experience. Whatever you need to do to laugh, do more of that. whether it's Ellen was just in there watching Two Broke Girls when I came out here this morning. That show's very funny. Those girls are cute, they're funny, and whatever it is, funny shows, funny movies, play games, whatever it is that brings you joy, you need more of that. And the good news is that when you choose joy, when I choose joy, since we're all part of this quantum field, this energy of oneness, every time I choose joy and love, then guess what? We're all lifted by that. That's awesome and so powerful. So remember that. Okay, so what I wanted to share, when people ask what I've been up to lately, I can't say I've been rewiring my whole, I can say, sorry about this, I gotta start it over. When people ask what I've been up to, but I can't say I've been rewiring my whole nervous system, an ego death, and unlearning the cycles of toxic behaviors, I just say, I've been working a lot. And I think we can all relate to that, right? It's just our whole nervous system. Sometimes I feel like that, it's just we're reconfiguring, recalibrating in a big way. The death of the ego means that I'm choosing to forgive and let go of my past and to stay present in love and with God. And then, of course, the toxic behaviors, I don't know about you, but I got 1 or 2 or 300, whatever. But that being said, working on that as well. So yeah, we're all working a lot, and let's work with a little more joy and peace and compassion. So Abraham Hicks, many of y'all know Abraham, who is the consortium of angels, who is they come through a beautiful woman, Esther Hicks, have been for many, many years. And there's always all kinds of great tools for navigating through life's experiences, whether it be personal or collective. And this one really can hit us between the eyes, and I think we need to take heed in this. And it says there's not one negative thing that we are experiencing that is happening for any other reason than we're not appreciating ourselves. When we're critical of somebody else, it's not about them. It's about you. It's about me. When you're condemning the world, whether it's political or religious or economic or ecological, when you're looking at the flaws in the world, it's not about the world. It's about us. It's about the way we feel about ourselves. And so we say, friends, nothing is more important than you establishing your own relationship with you. It's our promise that it's our promise to you that your inner being adores you. But you close that door when you think thoughts of lack about ourselves. And I think that this is so true. It's never about what's happening out there. Okay, never. 100% never. We think it is. And boy, do we try to justify it and give it meaning and defend our stance and our need to be right? As the Course in Miracles says, do you prefer to be right or happy? Well, I want to be happy. I don't need to be right anymore. I don't need to make anyone else wrong. And that's not all the time. I haven't mastered that, but I'm way better, and I'm sure you guys are as well. But it's all about our relationship to self and what this world is constantly doing. Good morning, Mary Fleming. What this world is constantly doing is giving us feedback as to where we are in consciousness, where the soul is calling for healing. Because we're not going to escape this world, this dream, until we realize it is a dream, and that the truth of who I am and who you are is a soul, a spirit. We're changeless, formless, and eternal. We're only love. We're only light. So we have to lift that veil and look at all those yucky things that keep us from that knowing and that truth. And so it's a job, sort of like that little thing I read earlier, we're working a lot on that, right? Well, be vigilant for God and God's kingdom only. So, and know that our inner being, we are so loved and appreciated. And if anything triggers or charges me, It's not about that. And it's interesting to watch myself and watch others, and not necessarily from a place of judgment, but just it's interesting to watch my triggers and other people's triggers. And it's like, okay, well, that's interesting. Boy, I took the bait on that big time, right? And I think we can all relate to that. But, until the world's not meant to be fixed, but rather forgiven. And forgiving the illusion means that I'm seeing beyond the story, this crazy story that we have projected into the quantum field, okay? And all these stories we make up, and realize that this isn't our home. We talked about that last week, talk about it a lot, right? This world is not our home. Our home is in heaven. Our home is in knowing that we are divine and holy. We're created in the likeness and image of God, and that is love. And guess what? So is everybody else, even those people that you can't stand. And that's the tough one. And so it's a choice, moment by moment. Good news is we can do it now. We can delay. It's up to us, because time is meaningless in eternity, but tragic in time. Delay. In other words, I'm tongue-tied today. I apologize. Well, anyway, what I'm choosing to say is we can wait a million years and keep playing this out and trying to fix it, or we can just say, you know what? I choose peace right here, right now, because heaven and hell are not necessarily destinations, but rather states of awareness. So when we can see the world in its beauty and see it forgiven, we're peaceful, and we're bringing light to every soul in the universe, not only in this planet. Eckhart Tolle, wonderful spiritual teacher, been around for a long time, quite a while, written many terrific books. Power of Now was, I believe, his first book. It's probably the one he's most noted for. I loved his book, The New Earth, as well. I thought that was a really powerful book. But, he literally was a man, he is a man, but his humanness was very challenged. His humanity. He was struggling. And he had a satori, an instant awakening. That was really a gift from God, grace. And he says some people awaken spiritually without ever coming into contact with any meditation technique or spiritual teaching. They may awaken simply because they can't stand the suffering anymore. And I think that's powerful, because, and the reason I want to share this is I do believe in meditation, and I believe in spiritual practice. It's sort of a tool to bring us closer to the awareness of truth and love. But sometimes God's grace, the pain is so bad, and when we think we just can't go on another step, we have an awakening, and that's a beautiful gift. And wouldn't that be nice if we could all receive that as he did, which I really do believe that he did receive that gift and blessing. And he has taken that to heart and has used his life as a means of teaching others how to live more lightly, awaken from the dream, not take things so seriously, be more present in love. Well, the Course in Miracles, this is interesting because, the teachings of the Course, it says in one of the books that is teaching about the Course, it says, words are symbols of symbols twice removed from the truth. So, what the heck does that mean? It means that words are what we use to communicate. Not doing it too well today, my tongue twisted. But anyway, it's how we communicate in our bodies and how we navigate through this world. But really, it's a journey beyond words. It's a journey to the heart. Words are in the intellect, in the mind. But the more evolved and advanced we become, more self-aware, we talk less and love more. I know many of you are probably familiar with the hugging Saint Amma. and she was very powerful, is a powerful woman. I think she's still here on the planet. And she doesn't do anything except gaze into your eyes. Make it sound like don't do anything except gaze. She gazes into your eyes with the purity of and sincerity of love, and you feel it. You just feel it melt away all the darkness and the fear. Doesn't say anything. When we went to see her years back up in Boone, North Carolina, there was a huge crowd there. We sat. Everyone got to go up and be in her presence and feel that. But it wasn't a lecture or a talk. And I do believe that eventually we will communicate from the heart, and it's almost telepathically. You know, we're not going to be separated by languages. We're going to be connected by that heart space. And the Course in Miracles says, strictly speaking, words play no part in all healing. The motivating factor is prayer or asking. What you ask for, you receive. But this refers to the prayers of the heart, not to the words you use in praying. Sometimes the words in prayers are contradictory, and sometimes they agree. So to me, that means so much. It's just like the surrender and trust. I think when we're praying in words, although there is sincerity in the words, and as this statement the Course says, they do meet, the words of the head and the heart do come together sometimes, but the heart knows. And if we can just surrender and say, thy will, not my will, be done, and trust the process, that God's will is only good and loving for us, and it's always for our ascension and consciousness, our awakening. So it is that journey beyond words. So that's where being still, just being present in love is so powerful. And again, it collapses that timeline, okay? Because the more we try to spend time as we know it, figuring it out, it's not meant to be figured out, not meant to be fixed. Right now, our world is very interesting. It's like a sci-fi crazy movie. You know, it's, you think about it, and lots of people at the top, we'll just say at the top, they have ideas about how to fix it, and the more people try to fix it, you realize, oh, we're in deep doo-doo here. So it's, you know, everything that's happening is happening. I think it's imploding, and we're all like, oh, Jesus, what do we do now? Literally, Jesus, what do we do? And it's not about putting our faith and trust and confidence in this world. It's about putting our trust, faith, and confidence in love, living from the heart, knowing that whatever happens in this world, if it implodes, if it changes for good, who knows? Whatever happens is not going to impact me unless I allow it to do so. Peace is a decision. And the Holy Spirit, every moment, is waiting for our call, waiting for our prayer of asking. So ask and it is given. Well, I've had prayers, low-level prayers, you know, I want a new car, I want a relationship, I want more money, whatever, I want to win a golf tournament, whatever, you know, silly prayers we put out there. But eventually, and you know what? It works. It's like, oh, I put that out there. Oh, I got more money. I got this. I got that. Won that tournament. And then that wonderful. But the truth is that I think that is a part of the process. I think if we're here and we're on that ladder to heaven, self-awareness, you know, the more we become self-aware, we need that feedback to say, wow, this works. And then you get it and it's like, okay, well, that's cool. I got what I asked for. That vision board really worked. But, you know, ultimately it serves a purpose. But the good news is that we don't have to do that anymore. We can just go straight to source, straight to the light. Thy will be done. Surrender. Surrender is the key, I think, to enlightenment. And we all, this quote I think is so important, and I really don't even know who said this, but it is, don't grip the illusion too tightly, because it was made to dissolve. So, we're holding on and we're getting so stressed and bent out of shape, and it's like, and Source, Spirit, God is just up there shaking his head, going, okay, let's just keep loving him, and he's given us free will to navigate through this experience, and we can take the fast track or take the leisurely suffering ride. It's our choice. But don't hold on too tight, because it's actually meant to dissolve, disappearance of the universe. And yeah, it's rocky road sometimes, and sometimes waking up or self-awareness, thinking, who can I think of that had a experience that was pretty challenging? Oh yeah, Jesus, yeah. He walked this earth in love and connected to Source, and he knew who he was. And yet he experienced the most inhumane, cruel experience of his crucifixion. And yet he was so self-realized that he overcame the world. He overcame the illusion. And I came here to teach us that, you know what, guys, you don't have to suffer. I did this so you don't have to. I took that last useless journey to this cross to show that you're not a body, you're a spirit. You don't have to suffer. He showed the ultimate forgiveness when these Romans were crucifying him, and thorns on his head, and vinegar, and it was obviously a very difficult human experience, but he overcame the world. He did it through forgiveness. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So my suggestion is, there's a lot of people playing roles in the world that are, we think, oh, they're awful. And, it's a call for love. And it's also, it wouldn't exist, as I go back to the beginning of today and past years of saying, this world is just a feedback mechanism to show us where we are spiritually. Yeah, we're all in the same experience in this world, and there's people who handle it with grace and ease and joy and peace, and are sort of above the battleground and just watching and sending love. And then there's people who are just like marching and protesting, and it's not that that's good or bad. It's just sometimes we do make decisions and choices to make this illusion real. And the more and more we get down this rabbit hole of insanity in this world, I get it so much that this isn't going to be fixed, and it's not meant to be. But Charlotte and you, each and every one of you, and every person on this planet, we have a choice for peace. And I can be in total bliss, joy, and love because I identify with my truth, which is my spirit, my heart, not the need for the illusion to change. I mentioned this last week, but I'm going to share it again because maybe someone didn't hear it, and it did impact me very much so. And, this tragedy in Texas is painful. It's painful to watch, and those families are suffering. And I think it's important for us to recognize, and we talk about this in the groups I teach during the week often, because we've gotten very close over the years in the group. And so, sometimes we're playing the role of the one who is holding the space for love, and say there's 10 people in a group and one person's really struggling. So the rest of us see the pain and the suffering, and we're holding that prayer and space for that person's peace and enlightenment, because they're just so deep in the muck, they're not able. Maybe they've had a diagnosis of something serious, or they've lost a family member, or they're struggling financially, whatever it is. And so they're not really that able and willing, and I speak for myself on that, to say, oh yeah, it's all peaceful, it's all good. So we're here to lift each other up. And so just sometimes we're the giver of love, and sometimes we're the recipients. So that's the exchange. And we're all here learning how to get along. And until we figure out, awaken to the fact that we're all God's children, we're all holy, we're all divine, and we're all here to remember who we are, and no one's exempt. Until that happens, we're going to continue to play these roles over and over and over again. And so sometimes you are helping me, and sometimes I'm here helping you, and this goes around and around, or the wheels on the bus, right? So transformation isn't always sweet and bright. It's sometimes dark and murky, painful, pushing, unraveling of the untruths we've carried in our body, a practice in facing our own created demons, and a complete uprooting before becoming. And I think that's so true. It's kind of like all the darkness, all these untruths that we've carried and that have lodged themselves in our body. And our body is really the purpose of the body. I'm not a body. I am free. I am still as God created me. The body is, what's its purpose? Well, my body is a means of communication. And how I use my body, it's a temple of the Spirit, and treat it like such, and make sure that we I choose to use my body as a means of healing and love. And the body is also a feedback mechanism. Sometimes emotions get trapped. We've talked about this over and over the years, but it bears repeating many times because we're still in a body and we're still experiencing symptoms, right? So, and that's not a bad thing. I look at these situations like in the book from Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Body, and to see how these trapped emotions can cause sickness. It can cause sickness in the heart, in the brain, in the liver. But there is always a spiritual component, and the body is a feedback mechanism for us to say, okay, what do I need to look at here? And it's not necessarily, it's not necessarily, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a loving thing. The body's reflecting back to say, here's where you still need a little work. It can literally, and I do believe this, I believe we can have a spontaneous healing, spontaneous awakening from anything. I do believe that. Is it possible? Yes. Probable? I would like to say yes, but I think that we are still navigating through this world. So sometimes you got to take the pill, do the shot, whatever it is, but not because it's a bad thing. It's just use what the world has to offer us to support us in our awakening. And ask Spirit, this is where I think as we become more enlightened and aware that Spirit will always lead us to that which serves us. And sometimes for some people, let's use cancer as an example. I know people who have had cancer. I know people who've died of cancer. I know people who have overcome. The people who died, their work was done. I mean, I don't say this lightly. They learned what they needed to learn with that experience, and they're done. I don't take that lightly. I hope you don't hear it that way. And then there's people who have a spontaneous healing. How'd that happen? Joe Dispenza, who I speak of a lot, has had many, many, many incidences of people's health being shifted in a 180 to where it disappears, the problem, right? And it's because they did the inner work. And yes, your son will overcome, and he is in my prayers, Jerry. He has more to do here. And that is so true. And Jason is his name, right? And we can all just see Jason in his divinity and know that he may hold him in making the choices that serve his soul in the greatest degree of love and healing, whatever that is. And so, we have to do the inner work. That's what this is all about. It's about doing the inner work. Inner peace gives us an external peace. And the body is here to do many things. So Sometimes healing's not about necessarily forgetting. Okay, we're talking about healing from experiences, forgetting the bad things that happened. It's about accepting how they've changed us. And it's about acknowledging our growth and falling in love with the new version of ourselves, because this is the way we'll unlock our true powers and open the doors to all the miracles coming our way. And that is so powerful, because it's not, I do believe that eventually true healing we forget. It says not about forgetting the bad things. I do believe eventually they'll be erased. That is the true healing. But the point this is making is that, everything comes with a gift, even the things that seem so awful. It's a gift. It's here to teach us. And as we get the lesson, and the lesson is always forgiveness. And what's forgiveness? Letting go, trusting source, trusting God, trusting in love. So then as we lift that veil and we do the inner work, we don't need to experience whatever it is that we've experienced in the past. And then we really open ourselves to miracles, because we've gotten all of our programming and thinking and judgments and projections and fears and all of that, put it to the side, or just pushed it down the river. And then we just open ourselves up to truth, to light, and our eternal nature of goodness and kindness and love and compassion. And I did sort of go down a rabbit hole here, but I want to get back to something, because it touched me, and I shared it last week, and I do want to share it again about those young ladies particularly. And I grieve for every soul lost, and the families who love those children, and people who were lost in those floods in Texas. And it's tough. It's very sad. But Camp Mystic, it's interesting, because it's a camp that's been there for 100 years. It's based in Christian living, Christian values, love, trusting in God, walking with Jesus. And these souls, young souls, and some of the older people, the camp owner, perished. And yet, as these girls, there was a busload of these girls, as they're leaving the camp, driving past the devastation, they've walked through hell, they've experienced the most difficult experience you could have beyond imagination, and they're singing praise songs on the way out. So, yes, they went through hell, and you know what? Their faith led them to a higher perspective of this. They were still able to praise God, praise love, and know, because they knew the truth. And I thought, wow, that is powerful. These kids are young, and yet they're so focused and clear on on the truth of what is real and what's not real. So yeah, that was powerful. So I just wanted to share that again, in case you didn't know about that or hear that. So, we do have to, take care of ourselves. We want to have a healthy body and a calm mind. And I love this. It says our greatest wealth is healthy body, calm mind, and the right people in our lives. And I do think that is so imperative. It's not that we're making decisions that keep our body healthy. And of course, the main decisions that we're making are those of identifying with our love, our soul, rather than the physical body, because the body's just, feedback, and keeping our mind calm, rising above the battleground, watching the movie. And then, of course, the right people in our lives are so important. I can love and bless everybody. I do. That's my intention. I'm pretty good at it. I could be better, and I'm choosing to be better. But there's certain people that just aren't, you just don't vibrate with, and they're not. And it's not about condemning or judging, because I've got my own crosses to carry and bear. But it's really about, you want to put yourself in an environment with people who lift you up. And I'm so sensitive to that now. And even though it's I know that it's only mine if I accept it, the projections of others and vice versa. You know, I choose to be with people like you guys, people who are sincerely on a path of awakening and truth and kindness and love and lifting each other up, rather than getting in this battleground of right and wrong and good and bad. The kingdom of heaven is all about peace and oneness and unity and holding our brother's hand and lifting each other up. So it sort of goes back to when I was talking to a friend the other day that, you know, and I know, Sue, you're a golfer, you can relate to this, but I think we can all relate to it, is that growing up, I always sought out to play golf with people who were better than me, because I knew that they would lift me up. I knew I would learn. I knew, and it didn't mean that I didn't care about or love the people who may not have been very good golfers, but you know, we've got to really put our attention on those people and situations that lift us up, not that keep in the gossip and the conflict and the right and wrong. And, you know, even with what's going on in the world, yeah, I have thoughts about, you know, my ego has a lot of thoughts, and damn it, I can fix this. Y'all are crazy, whatever it is, but whatever that is. But I also know that the soul knows that, you know, this, just Charlotte, mind your P's and Q's, walk with the Lord, live in the light, bless everybody, and make choices. You know, we have every moment a choice of what we put in our body, whether or not to exercise, who we associate with. Choose wisely, because I think that, again, those choices determine how quickly we awaken. And so the secret of transformation, awakening, is the way we handle this very moment, right here, right now. And so right here, right now, I bet you we're all, for the most part, pretty happy, peaceful, and because we're here, right? You know, we're here to learn and lift each other up. And hey, Susan, good to see you. Anyway, but how are you handling the moments? How are you handling the moments when it looks like everything's imploding around you? How do you handle the moments of chaos and fear and tragedy? Well, those young girls, probably 7 to 12 years old, maybe younger, maybe older, I don't know, the driving out of the camp and being able to stay in their hearts and praise God and Jesus, they're my teachers. I'm like, wow, I can do better. And gave me a lot of the food for thought, for sure. So remember, change is coming every moment. Everything in your life is opening itself up. And we're moving from a place of stagnation to flow, and from confusion to clarity, pain to peace. We are at a pivotal turning point in our collective and personal evolution here on the planet. And so the decisions that we're making in every moment have an impact. They sure have an impact on how we proceed. So change is it's coming, baby. We can't stop it, but we can control how we relate to it. And Susan, thank you. Love having you watching. Great to connect with you this way, Susan. Have a great day. And I'm going to close with this prayer for inner peace. I don't know who wrote it, but I thought it was beautiful. And just, if you want to close your eyes, put your hands on your heart. I'll put my hands on my heart. Can't close my eyes because I can't read it if my eyes are closed. I haven't figured out that master skill yet. So, dear Lord, I come before you today in need of your peace in my life. Please give me all around peace in my mind, body, soul, and spirit. Please remove everything that's causing me stress, anxiety, and depression. I lay before you all people, situations, worries, fears, and concerns that I do have, and ask that you would replace them with your unwavering peace. In these difficult times, please help me to focus on you and the plan you have for my life. God, give me peace of mind and confidence in your perfect plan. And so it is. Amen. So yeah, we're not alone here, folks. So I really appreciate you all tuning in. I appreciate this prayer, whoever wrote it. It's very comforting. And if we focus on the light, focus on God, all is well. Everything else just melts away. So thank you all for tuning in as always. And I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. I will be in West Virginia next week for a quick trip, but you're welcome, and thank you all for tuning in. And if you want to pass it along, that's awesome. And Andrea, nice to see you here. Great to see everybody here. It's interesting. I don't know who's really on this because some people's names pop up and they don't, and I still don't know why. Doesn't matter. But anyway, have a great week, everybody. Peace and love. Namaste.